Oh, that's a bullet. That is a bullet. That's literally a bullet.
Gone too far on it.
If you would have told me a few years ago that my golf bag would look like it does today, I probably would have laughed. But over the last few years, my swing and now my body is transforming and changing, and what's happening is my speeds are changing with it, with the work I've done on my golf swing. And now what I'm trying to do by lifting heavy weights, not heavy enough and not often enough, I'm seeing results in my ball speed. My ball speed is going up. I need it to go up more, but it's getting there. And I've always been a bit of a creature of habit. I don't muck around with my clubs. I kind of just make them work for me. But I've noticed some holes and some gaps and some changes in the clubs I feel like I need. So I was lucky enough to go to Srixon Performance Centre to work with their tour fitters and their best fitters to try and get the right Srixon Cleveland clubs for my game. And I think how my bag looks today, anyone who knows my game and anyone who watches my channel a bit, I think is going to be pretty shocked of what I am doing in my golf bag. I'm going to explain exactly why I've made the changes I've made, what it might mean a little bit for everyday golfers too. The last clubs at the end of the video that I show you, I still can't believe I'm using them and enjoying them as much as I am. Let's show you what's in my golf bag with my idea of trying to get onto the seniors tour, or at least try and play in an event, or show you why I'm not good enough to play in a seniors tour event. I don't want it to be my bag as the problem, so we fix that. Let's show you what's in my bag. So kicking off with my irons in my bag are the Srixon ZXI R game improvement irons. I absolutely love these irons. What I love about them is they don't look like game improvement irons, yet they perform like game improvement irons. So what happens is I do get some help on off-center strikes. I get great peak height, I get good land angle, they're stronger in loft, so I get an ego boost, and I do feel with a strong lofted club that launches and peak heights decent, I can stand there and use the speeds I'm going for and give these clubs just a wallop. I've got standard Tour 360 velvet grips on them. I've got steel KBS Tour Light standard shafts. They are standard lie, standard length. They are so standard, and they're game improvement. I see so many golfers asking these questions about what irons to use. I'm just using the most friendly irons I can get my hands on, while at the same time still enjoying the looks of them. They don't look like massive shovels. Srixon are so good at making irons look good, even though they're performing like game improvement irons. Now in this set I go from a pitching wedge up to, wow, we'll talk about what I go up to. So wedges for me, I'm CBZ wedges. I like the cavity back wedges that blend more with my game improvement irons. And I've also got change in loft. So I've now got a 46, a 50 and a 58. So the 46 has 12 bounce on the 50, 10 bounce on the 58, so medium to higher end on the bounces, just to give me what I feel is a nice bit of relief as I come through the ground. Now the reason this is quite a big change for me is that I used to use the pitching wedge in the ZXI 7s. I just grabbed one from a set because my pitching wedge of my actual set is strong, so I have a gap if I just go to from the pitching wedge to a 56 or something like that. So I've got the 46, which is basically like a pitching wedge, and what I like now is that all three shapes are blending, where I used to have a club in there that didn't match any of my set. Also what I love about these is that just feel of cavity back, hitting full wedges, blending that feel off the face with my game improvement iron. The idea of bladed wedges is cool and they look good, but again, why not have it blend with what I'm used to already? The other thing is, I can't remember if I think I'll have to check the video. I think it's a 58 to a 57 and maybe a 50 to a 51. I'll have to check. I think I wanted that tour bend in there. But reason I did have a 60 before going to a 58, I was just finding with a 60, chipping's not my strongest point. Lots of real deflections coming up short. I just felt like when I chipped with someone else's 56 on a course, it felt a bit more like I could do more with it. I could get height, I could get one going forwards. I didn't just get the ball sliding up the face consistently. Loving these. I love the blend. I'm really enjoying the 46 now as my pitching wedge as well. It's such a pretty little shape. So my putter's quite curveball. I've got the HB Soft 2. This is the Retrieve CB. So basically this hole here, you can retrieve balls with it, which I quite like when I'm picking them out of the water or a bunker that I've hit a second ball into. It's a mallet shape. I mean, I've always been much more classic. This is a mallet shape, which I'm enjoying. And the big thing that I've even surprised myself with, this came to me just for testing and I kind of picked it up and liked it. See, it's got the big long grip on it. I can't even remember the length. Is it 38 inches? Basically, it's got loads of overhang on the grip. I like that kind of feeling of counterbalance and standing a bit taller with my putter. Now, I'm thicker with my putters. I do tend to stick with ones for a long time. So, and I've had this for quite a while. But there's a good chance I'll go back to a regular length at some point. Sometimes the grass is just greener, isn't it? You try something else and it just feels different, which then interprets feels nicer. What I do like, I like the milling on the face. I like how soft this feels off the face. I like that kind of medium to dull sound. Because it's got this hole, it does have this little ting to it. Some people hear it. I don't know if you can hear that on the mic there. It's got like the old-fashioned ping-ping a bit to it, which some people have heard on some of my videos and have said, oh, I don't like the sound of that, it sounds tinny. I actually quite like the sound of that at the moment. But nothing's given with putting. I can change. We all can. But at the moment, this is a putter I didn't think I would ever go for. Longer, big round, big head. It just feels like the more I practice it, I don't have to think much with this.
Freewood, the Srixon ZXI, it's 15 degree, set at 15 degree. Got a Ventus TR6S Fujikura shaft. This thing, when I hit it properly, is a bit of a rocket machine. I would say their Freewoods are just so underrated. Like, this Freewood is so solid for me. I use it from the ground and from the tee. And with my new speed numbers, I can get close to my old driver ball numbers. That's 152 ball from the ground. Like, I'm properly getting this out there from the tee, not far off my 262 carry. From the ground, it's 240 to 250. So that's a 249 carry, bit cutty, 152 ball. Not much quicker, to be fair, that one, but it just feels like I can keep this on play. A little bit cutty, that one, but it's a safe shot from this distance. I love how rockety it feels. It's a 151 ball, but I've been getting this up to 157s when I rip it. Like, it's ridiculous. Loving this Freewood.
So the driver has been an interesting journey for me. So the driver I was using and still have it around my bag, it's in my boot, I sometimes interchange, is I've got the Srixon ZXI Max. So like the most game improvement one. And I have it with a 50-gram shaft, so it's a really lightweight shaft. I am someone who responds to lighter weight shafts. You give me a lighter weight shaft, I tend to swing them a bit faster than a heavier shaft. Most people watching this video, you've probably got a 60-gram shaft, maybe even more in your driver. That's often what comes as standard. So me, someone who's trying to get faster and stronger, I have a 50-gram shaft. Now, as I'm getting faster, what I'm noticing is sometimes I can't control the spin with the max head. It maybe spins a fraction more. And also when I catch it out the toe, certainly the toe, which is something I do, with the slightly lighter shaft and the more inferi-friendly head, I actually get quite a lot of turn on it. I can get some big toey hooks, which I hate. I don't like them. I will catch it out of toe. I want it to draw, but I don't like the big toey hooks. So at the moment, and after my testing, I have now got the standard ZXI driver. And what this does, it allows us to get a bit more kind of custom ability in the weight ports, because we get 2 weight ports, which we can put whatever weight we want. At the moment, I have a 10-gram weight in the heel and a 4-gram weight in the toe. I do have a 14-gram weight, which I think is maybe tour only, which I can put in the heel. When I put that in with the new shaft that I have as well, so the combination of these two, it just felt like a bit too heavy. It was pushing me beyond this idea of getting heavier. And the idea for me of getting heavier in the driver, so I'm now up to a 60-gram shaft. I've got the Ventus Blue in a 6S, so it's a stiff, but it's 60 gram, is if I lose 1 or 2 mile an hour with this club, generally around 1 mile an hour, I'd say on average, because I don't swing it as fast as the lighter, what I gain in this head, so with the weight and the heavier shaft, is mass. So I, in effect, get the same out, but what I gain is I feel like it's a head and shaft combo that feels a fraction more stable. So think about this, both shafts were stiff. It's not flex. Shaft flex is just not going to make the difference as so many people think. Weight absolutely can make a difference, and different golfers respond to weight, and I definitely respond to weight. So I basically have a slightly heavier driver with a little bit more weight in the head and then a slightly heavier shaft, just so I can still try and swing it as hard as I want, but I feel like I've got the stability on those off-center hits. Even though the Max is meant to be more stable, if I put this shaft in the Max, which is something I might do as well, that might be the dream club, I'm still playing around. I wouldn't say one of these drivers is better than the other. I would say one feels, so personalized to me, the Human Mess, better at the moment. There's a good chance you're going to see me using my classic 50 gram Max in videos. That's what I used at La Manga, and I drove the ball really well. So sometimes it's me moving in and out of form and the driver fixes my feelings, and sometimes it's actually a fit. We all know when it comes to actually hitting better drives, you need your fundamentals in place, which is why I made this free course down below.
You ready for this? No hybrids. From a free wood, I go to the ZXRU 2 iron, 18 degrees.
Yeah, see that?
Yeah, see that?
Yeah. Hit this from the ground, hit it from the tee, love how it feels. I feel from the ground my hybrid has a slight advantage, but from the tee this feels way more consistent. The other thing I like about it, because it's a flat face, I don't get the huge curvature when I hit it. And this is the main reason why the hybrids at the moment are out. Doesn't say they won't come back. I'm just finding with me trying to hit it harder with extra speed when I hit, the hybrids were curving, gear affecting further offline. Center of gravity nearer the face, straight face on it as well. I just feel when I hit this, I might drop back in distance, but I'm not getting full distance big curvatures going over hedges as much. And I do love the way this feels. I'm so surprised that I can actually hit this as well as I can, do what I want with it from the ground. And my rinky dinks, my 23 degree hybrid is gone. I have a 23 bent to 22 4 iron in the ZXRU and or a 5 iron. I'm really not decided on which one of these two I'm going to go with at the moment. So the ZXRU 4 iron at 23 bent to 22 looks great. Again, it's the same thing, flatter face, center of gravity nearer the face. I don't feel like I can curve this as far offline. When I hit this well, it top ends out maybe a little bit too far. So it goes not far from the 2 and it goes a bit too far from my 6. Remember, my iron below this is a 6 iron. So in my irons, I am a pitching wedge to a 6 iron, and then I jump to that or this 5 iron. So decent ZXRU there in the 4 is 225 carry. I am just really enjoying the step from a 6 iron to this 5 iron at the moment. A little bit of the wrong shape on that, so it won't be as long. But this one just feels so blendy with my set. So 211 carry on a slight cutty up one. So if I hit that better, this is just sneaking 220 carry at the most. Like, it's just getting there just. Hitting long irons into greens for me is just absolutely, I'm loving it compared to a hybrid. If I was still hitting it nice and soft and gentle, I think the hybrid would be perfect. But because I'm going for more speed, these just feel much more controllable. So I've gone from having 4 head covers in my bag to 2, and I'm not decided between the 5 iron and the 24. I think they'll flip and flop, and the hybrids are still very close to me in my office, ready to go back in the bag if I need them. If you want to see how I get on without this set of clubs, so round of golf without my new set, watch this. I took on La Manga, where they play a seniors tour event.